Welcome to Work From Your Happy Place, the podcast that equips you with the tools, know-how, and motivation to live your dreams and find your happy place. Be sure to sign up for our free weekly newsletter for a recap of the week's guests and a preview of what's in store. To sign up, simply text the word Happy Place with no space to 33444. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the host of Work From Your Happy Place, Belinda Ellsworth.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Work From Your Happy Place. I'm very excited about our artist edition today. I have Adam Drake with me, and Adam is an award-winning filmmaker who currently resides in Cookeville, Tennessee, where he runs his own production company, Drake Films. He works steadily on a variety of film projects, including movies, music videos, commercials, and other visual media-related content. Drake has also been an assistant director for over 20 films, including The Chosen and Overcomer. It is my pleasure to welcome Adam Drake to our show today.
Hello, hello.
Hi. So, Adam, let's dive in here. You're an interesting guest today because you could easily be on our business entrepreneur, and then we have our artist entrepreneur, and you really fit both of those buckets so nicely.
Oh, thank you.
Why don't you fill in the gaps of some of this bio? Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the journey. How did you get on this path?
Yeah, so I grew up in small town Sparta, just down the road from Cookeville, and my life was sports. And then went to college and originally got a scholarship to play basketball in Kentucky, and then I ended up in Nashville playing basketball there. Had no idea what I wanted to do with my life besides play basketball. That was my dream. And then I stumbled onto acting about my sophomore or junior year of college, and got some agents, got represented, and started booking some modeling gigs and some acting gigs, and got on a couple sets, and just absolutely fell in love with it, and knew that was my calling, and that's what I wanted to do. So then I started pursuing it to where I wanted to make my own stuff. I didn't want to just be in front of the camera, but I wanted to make stuff myself as well, and do both. And the college I went to didn't have any kind of film program. So I went out to LA to a film school. It was just a 1-semester film school there out in LA, and kind of got my feet wet, learned how to shoot and edit and all those things. And then I just came back to Nashville because I didn't really like LA or wanted to stay in LA. I just got married. My wife hated it there too. We both come from small towns. So we came back to Nashville at least. And I started pursuing the business and just trying to get connections and meet people and work on whatever I could get my hands on, in music videos, commercials, things like that. And then eventually fell into the film world and started doing some real low indie film projects. And then the same thing kind of happened there. Then when I started doing films, I fell into the role. I started out in camera and a few other things. And then I fell into the role of the first assistant director, which is the person that kind of runs the set. So it's kind of more of whereas the director and the director of photography and those people are the more creatives on set. The AD is also creative, but it's definitely much more of a logistical job, to where if somebody comes on the set, they think that you're the director. You're running the show. You're telling the crew where to go. You're telling everybody where to go, and you're kind of running it to make sure that it all happens. So I fell into that and felt like I was really good at it. And then I've been doing that ever since, for the most part. So it's mostly been in the last several years, lots of movies and shows, and as a first assistant director.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I know one of the shows that you have been a big part of, assistant director, and definitely part of the collaboration, has been The Chosen. So that has just been a huge success for you guys. And probably was it an unexpected one? Did you guys think it was going to be the hit that it is? And why don't you tell folks a little bit about how you guys produce that yourself?
Sure. So if you talk to some of us, I'd say to some of us, it was a surprise on the success, but then some of us, it wasn't. So when Dallas first sent me the scripts, he said, this has potential to be very big. And I read the scripts and I totally agreed. And it was just a matter of, now, did I know that it was going to be a huge success in the way that it is now? No, of course I didn't know that it was going to be. But when I read the scripts and he kind of told me the plan, I definitely thought this has potential to be huge. And so I'm almost not surprised that we're here now, because I saw it from the beginning, right? And he did too. And a lot of other people that were involved from the beginning saw it that way and just said, this is going to be great. I hope other people get on board, because this is awesome. I haven't seen anything like this and I'm excited about it. So I actually, at the time when he presented it to me and asked me to come be his first assistant director, which was a long process, but in that process, I had another offer on a couple other films, and I had to turn them down. And it was, but it was an easy turn down for me. It was like, I want to be a part of this, even knowing before, because Dallas, when we first did it, he only had 4 episodes funded, so we were only shooting the first 4 episodes, and that's all we were going to do. We didn't know if we could go any further, and so he gave kind of that heads up, and I said, well, I want to be involved with this 4, though. This is exciting, and I love the scripts. And it was the first, for me, being pretty much a non-emotional guy, I was the first script I ever read and cried. Like, I've cried other times, but I've never read a script and cried. And when I read the scripts, I cried, and I was like, I have to be a part of this. So I do think some of us saw the success coming.
Okay. So I've seen the first season. That's how much I've seen so far.
Oh, you're missing out. You got to see season 2. It's even better.
I know. I just have not. I crammed it in, and I wanted to see it because I wanted to see. I was just going to watch a couple of episodes, and then I, of course, got hooked in and watched the whole thing in preparation of our interview. But then it's just so well done. Oh, my goodness. And then my daughter's been getting ready to go back to school. And so I said, okay, once she gets situated, then I'll have some time to kind of get back into it and watch season 2. So for the folks that are listening and might not have any clue at all what we're talking about, would you like to explain a little bit about The Chosen?
Sure. So The Chosen is the #1 crowd-funded project of all time, which is crazy. So the #1 before that was Mystery Science Theater 3000. If you know what that show is, I grew up watching that show. I think they raised somewhere around 6 or 7 million. And for the first season, we raised over 10 million for the first season.
Wow.
And it was all crowdfunded. So it's not backed by any studios or anything like that. It's all just donations online. And the first group were actual investors. So the first group that donated or didn't donate to The Chosen, they're actually investors, and ideally one day would get their money back. Whereas everybody else from now for season 2 and going forward, is just donations. It's just giving. And so the show completely relies on the fans, and this has just been the biggest by far of anything secular or Christian that has made it this far, just solely being crowdfunded. So we raised over 10 million the first season. For second season, that was over 12 million. So we've already pumped over 22 million, and then whatever we're at for season 3, I'm not sure where we're at on the funding right now as we speak, but I know it's almost funded. So we're talking about a whole nother season funded, and everybody that's behind the project feels that we have no problem getting to all 7 seasons. So speaking of that, let's backtrack of what the actual show is. So the Chosen is about the life of Christ and the disciples, and it's just told in a different manner. It's real, it's raw, it's authentic. It doesn't feel like and I've worked on these Christian projects. I've been on the hokey ones, and this is not hokey. We have genuine, really good, talented actors and great storytellers and great cinematographer to make it feel like a Hollywood production and like it's top notch, and it is. And it's great storytelling, it's great writing. And I always told people in the first 4 episodes that I felt like it was the Christian version of Lost, because Lost, for me, when I first watched it, which was a huge show, was all about the characters and diving into those characters and how they interact and meet and kind of how they correspond and cross over each other. And The Chosen so does that at the very beginning. And then from there on out, it's just really developing Jesus and the disciples and all the stuff that's not in your Bible, but it's a good chance that maybe it was that way. And so you get to see these characters where it just feels, instead of you just reading Simon Peter in your Bible and you kind of see him as this, however you see him, I'm sure most people see him differently. So many more people now see Simon very differently after watching the show, because he's got so much more depth that you don't get to read in your Bible or you don't see. So it just makes it more real and authentic, and it makes you want to go back and read your Bible and go, okay, now I can feel like I'm more in Simon's shoes in this situation than when you just read your Bible and you don't have that. So I think that's what's been such an impact on people. It's not even the same, right? So many people, because hundreds of people come up to me, and I'm not even the director, whereas Dallas has thousands of people come up to him, but hundreds of people come up to me and tell me their different convictions and interactions with the characters and how it plays with them differently. And it's so cool. Almost no one has the same story. So even though the characters played the exact same for the show, everybody has a different reaction of how it speaks to them, right? And a different character that they love. And that's what's so great, is we have all these different characters for people to relate to, and it feels real. So anyways, The Chosen is, what's great about it too is it's completely free. So the whole first season is on YouTube, but also The Chosen now has its own app. And so you just download the app to your phone, your iPad, whatever, and every single episode is free. And we plan to go for 7 seasons, and all 7 seasons are going to be offered for free, and they'll all be available on that app. And you can stream it to your TV, your Roku, Fire Stick, whatever it is you use at home to stream and watch the
Mm-hmm.
show. So it's very simple to use. And you can still, if you're an old school person, you like the DVDs, which I kind of do too, even though I'm a filmmaker, I still like to keep DVDs or Blu-rays. They also do those. So
Oh, great. I know I'm not a super tech savvy gal, but I had no issues using the app
yeah, it's very
whatsoever.
simple.
I found it to be really simple, and it's so well written, but it's super impressive that you've been able to crowdfund this entire thing. I mean, that's the success of that is just really it's a testament to what you're doing. So
It
I
is. It
love
is
that.
because it's not us, right? I mean, it's
Right.
and Dallas will be the first one to say it. His testimony goes along with the show. He had a huge fallout and a movie that was supposed to be huge fallout, and basically thought his career was over. And out of that, and out of him giving his career to the Lord, The Chosen came out of that. So it's his if you can, there's plenty of YouTube videos on it too. You can look it up if you're interested in Dallas's story, which is the creator of The Chosen, is Dallas Jenkins. He has such a cool testimony of like him moving himself out of the way so the Lord could basically bring The Chosen. And so that like it, Dallas has humbled himself, and that's why The Chosen is here. I'm a big believer in that myself.
That is fantastic. So let's talk about you as the entrepreneur, because you also wear a couple of other hats. So, and I think it's important to, as an entrepreneur, to create those multiple streams and be involved in things. I think it keeps life exciting.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, it's hard for me to turn it off. So sometimes in between projects, in between films, I got to find other little things to do. And I also want to. I'm like I like to be a part of the community that can almost the fire community. I don't want to retire early, that financial independence, retirement early, but I don't necessarily want to retire early, but I want that option. So I like pursuing those things that give me that option to be able to do that. So, anyways, I do some real estate on the side. I've had the luxury of being able to flip some homes and then also own some properties that rent and do some Airbnbs and VRBOs and things like that. So I've been able to do some of that. Also, this one's not a money revenue thing, but I'm also writing a book that for me, it's just something I'm passionate about. It's about marriage, and it's about men pursuing their wives. And so it's just something that I'm passionate about and love talking to men about. And so I'm just writing that. That's not to make money. That's just because I'm passionate about doing it. And, I'm just excited about doing that. So I'm also writing a book. Let's see, what else do I do? I mean, I also, outside of the movies, I also pursue my own things of filming, where I film, personal things for businesses and promos and commercials for business and things like that, for local companies and things like that too. So there's always something a brewing, I guess. And then also,
That's awesome.
one other thing that, again, it's not necessarily a money revenue thing, but it's we do YouTube videos with my family. So I have 5 children, so you can imagine how crazy it is at my house. And at one point they were all under 8. So we have
Oh my goodness.
lots of fun times in my house. So I being a filmmaker too, I love to film everything and I video everything we do. So I've started putting together videos and things like that. Our YouTube, a couple of our videos have gotten some serious views, which has been fun. And so I also pursue our YouTube channel and try to do as many videos and fun little stuff that we put up on our channel there too. So that's also pretty time consuming.
I bet. Let's talk about then one of your greatest accomplishments. Something, and we all have accomplishments that continue as we go along the journey, but something when it happened, you were just like, wow, I'm excited. This is just like kind of unbelievable.
I mean, I think for sure for me, that's been The Chosen, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
it has definitely been the most successful project I've been a part of. I've been a part of some cool projects and some very cool films that have done really well, and that I was very excited to be a part of, and worked with, big names and things like that. That's exciting, but there's definitely not been a project as rewarding as The Chosen. I've gotten to do podcasts like this and speak at churches and do lots of other things where people just love to talk about it. And I love to talk about it too, because I'm a part of it, but also it affects me the same as it does everyone else. I love the show just as much as anyone else. And it brings tears to my eyes, and I love talking about it and how it relates to different people. And so it's just been a really fun community to be a part of and to talk about.
Awesome. So let's talk about then one of your greatest challenges. What's been, a great challenge that you've faced, and then how you work through it?
Honestly, the toughest one there is being a dad. Man, that is harder than any project I've worked on. That's harder than the hardest film I've been a part of, with everything going wrong and all the drama. Raising kids is so much harder.
Absolutely. So what's the breakdown of the children, like as far as boys, girls?
Yeah, so I have 3 girls, 2 boys. So I have twins.
Okay.
I have twins that are boy girl that are now 11. And then I have a 7-year-old girl, a 5-year-old girl, and a 3-year-old boy.
Aw. Yep. Kids do keep you busy, and they keep you on your toes as far as being just walking your own walk, but then being that example for them, and how the characteristics and the things you want them that become a part of their life, a part of their being. I have a 17-year-old, and then I have a couple in their 30s, and it's so rewarding to watch children as they grow and get older, and watch them handle themselves in such dignified and with integrity, and looking out for others with empathy and kindness. There's just all those things that you got to work hard at instilling that when they're kids. And that's just the truth of it.
Yeah, I'm praying and believing that now. So I haven't got to see that reward yet, and I'm praying I get to.
Oh, it is. And it still continues. Like you're still always, it doesn't ever stop. So, but that's awesome. Right. So let's talk about, so we have talked about The Chosen, obviously being one of the greatest projects, but do you have a fun story or a memorable project that you've been a part of, maybe outside of that was pivotal in your career, or that just really was a fun, memorable event?
Well, there's so many different stories of crazy things that have happened on set and things like that. I guess going back to the first thing I think of is just the one of our YouTube videos that went nuts, which is not a project, so I can get more specific on a project I've worked on if you like. But one of the other things that happened with one of our, like the little video we made for YouTube, is it went crazy online, and I think it's like 4.5 million or 5 million views on a little like pregnancy announcement video we did, and so that was fun to see that kind of go nuts and change the trajectory of that. So that was new and exciting. That was several years ago now, but that was fun to see. And then shortly after that, we had another one where my daughter was arguing with Alexa, the Amazon smart device. She was arguing with Alexa,
right?
And Amazon bought it and wanted to put it on like some commercials and some other things like that. So that went crazy too. So that was kind of a fun little spell where we had a couple of videos just go nuts, and it was fun to see and watch.
Oh, that is fun. So let's talk about, as an artist, what are some of the ways in which you build up your fan base?
I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
So I think to build up your fan base, you have to be social. You have to be present on all the social medias all the time, and I try to turn that stuff off when I get home. Because I do travel a lot for work and I'm gone all the time, so I try to turn that off. And so I think it's kind of hard to build a following when you go sporadically or like that, right? So sometimes, like when I'm working, I'm on it quite a bit because I have things to share, working on cool projects and things like that. So I have things to share, and I'll post a lot. And then when I get home, it goes in spurts, right? I don't use it for a while, and then all of a sudden I'll jump on and do something with the kids, and then I've got some cool stuff to share with the kids online and social media and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I would say I'm not very good at keeping up with it. And so the good thing for me on that is my business is word of mouth. And so most of my work is word of mouth. And so I don't have to rely on it to get work. It's mostly just connections and people talking. So if you want more of a social media following and you want that presence, then you probably shouldn't follow what I do.
Well, let's talk about networking, because I think that there's an entire generation of people that believe that all you have to do is jump on social media. And the reality of it is it's about building relationships. And so I see greater value in networking almost even than social media.
Oh, you're so right. I completely agree. Yeah, like that's how that's exactly right. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is how I built my career. It was before social media was a thing, and it was before, you had the Instagram and the Facebook. Facebook might have been around some, but still wasn't like the business side of Facebook, right? Or the networking
Right.
side of Facebook. And so networking face to face and person to person was the way I got in the business, right? So because there was years of me trying to get in. It's not an easy business to get in, but I went to there's tons of Christian music and video and film festivals, and I went to all of them. I went to as many as I could, and you meet people and you connect with them. You give them your business card, you talk to them, and you connect with people. And I think the value of that, even today, is that because I get it all the time around social media. I get messages all the time from composers and people who want to work with me or work on a project with me, but I've never met them in person. And so a message from them is like, okay, great, thanks, but I'm not going to remember that or keep it. So when I go to hire somebody, it's always going to be somebody that I got to meet face to face, and I got to know them personally and see their personality and kind of who they are. So for anybody out there who is trying to get a job in the business or in the entrepreneurial world, it's face to face is going to get you way more in front, a job than social media. Because like I said, I know for me, if I'm hiring somebody, I'm not going to hire the guy that I've only met on social media. I'm going to hire the guy or girl that I've met and they've had an impact. And I go, okay, I really like their personality. They can make this work, or I like what they're doing, that sort of thing. So yeah, networking, very important face to face, I believe.
So, and hopefully we'll get to start attending events again. But you're right; you have to get out there. You've got to attend things. You need to get introductions from other people.
Right. I guess another example of that, one I'm thinking about what you're talking about, was that, like, if you just meet somebody on social media, which I've had this, well, then go meet them, right? Go have a cup of coffee with them and sit down with them, because that's the person I'm going to remember too. And for me, that's helped me. So if there's somebody I really want to connect with and I message them, then I follow up with, like, well, let's actually meet up and meet in person, because they're not going to remember you from messages online or your posts or social media or anything like that. You can set up a meeting face to face. If we're not doing events and we're in the COVID thing and there's not a lot of events going on, well, at least meet that person one on one. You can do that.
Wonderful. So, Adam, one of the questions that can be difficult for a lot of our artists is sort of the navigation between the business side of things and the artistic or creative side of things. So how do you navigate between those two things?
Sure. I would say for me, a lot of times, honestly, it's not as difficult to navigate between the two in what I do, because I would say it's 90% logistical and 10% creative most of the time in what I do. But then there is times where I just turn on the creative and only doing creative. So they're kind of not as hard to branch between, because I am surrounded by so many creatives in what I do that they kind of bring the creative and then I bring the logistical, and it works. And when I'm doing other stuff, when I'm not actually being a first AD on a movie and I'm doing other stuff, then yes, I have to bring in a lot more of the creative brain. And that is a little more difficult for me, because I am so used to using the logistical side of my brain most of the time, that when it's time to kind of pursue one of my own projects or do something more creative, that is a little harder to reach into. And so what I do is lean on creative people, since I work in a business that is very creative, and almost everyone I work with is very creative. I can just lean on those people. And so I just usually call my friends and the people I work with and go, okay, here's what I'm thinking. Here's some ideas I have. And I let them kind of help me work with the creative side of my brain to accomplish what I want to do creatively.
That's great. I can totally relate to that. Now, the other thing is, and I'm learning more, I've discovered this more about myself, but I've even been reading more about it for people that are have to be on a schedule, have to be on time, have specific things that need to be taken care of, which is very much where you're at when you're filming and when you're in a really tight schedule. So it's things like going for long walks, being by yourself, doing something that is sort of a quiet space. So is there something that works for you? For me, it is definitely walking, like getting out in kind of nature and going for a nice long walk. Do you find when you work out, or are you thinking about what you're working out? Or is there time, besides leaning on those friends for inspiration, that you really become sort of just like things start to flow?
Oh, for sure. It's definitely time alone. So obviously, being at a very busy home with 5 kids running around, that is the last place I can be creative. And it's even hard to think business and logistical minded when it's crazy at the house. So for both sides of it, I really have to be by myself and need love and need that quiet, just still time for sure. And I don't go for walks a lot of times, but like exercising or being outside definitely helps too. I think just being out in nature and just kind of relaxing and having a cup of coffee and just in silence definitely helps bring that along. So that's one of the things I love.
So I see you're traveling now and you spend time in hotel rooms. I find that's a really good space for me too, to just kind of think about things. I get super creative and take lots of notes. I always carry a notebook with me when I'm in hotels just for downtime, because that's when things start to kind of get exciting.
Oh, for sure. I'm in a hotel right now, and it's, I don't look forward to it necessarily, getting away from my family and all that stuff. But when I
Sure.
get to a hotel room, it's like, oh yeah, that's when, oh man, it's like I can get so much work done and I can focus, and because there's nothing else to do. I'm just in a room. So if I
Right.
don't leave the room, I'm just nonstop and I can keep going and feel so accomplished at the end of a day for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is kind of our signature question of the show, and that is, what does working from your happy place mean to you?
I mean, for me, it's doing everything I'm doing. I'm in it. I'm living in it. I love the balance of all of it. I love what I do and making films and being a part of the creative and the logistical side of making a project like that, and working with new people and people that I already love to work with, and then meeting new people and working with them. And then also being home. I love my family and being able to spend time with them, and like getting those moments with my kids and creating videos with them and having a good time with them. And so all of it, I am so blessed and fortunate to live in my happy place in everything I do, at home and at work. And so my happy place is right here where I'm at, wherever I'm at, honestly.
Oh, that's great. You know, it means a lot of different things to a lot of people. It's certainly loving what you do, but it is certainly spending it with the people that you really care about as well. So let's talk about what advice you would give to someone just starting out in this type of business. Like, what advice would you give them if they're thinking, gosh, I'd love to do that?
Well, first I would say you gotta have passion. If you're not passionate about something like this, then it's just miserable. It's long hours, it's lots of travel and being away from family if you have family, or even a spouse. It's the passion drives it. So if you're not passionate about it, then it's just going to be miserable. You're gonna put in way too many hours and too much work, and not enough money for all the time that you'll put into breaking into the business. So don't do it for the lights and for the fame or for the cool factor of it. It's got to be because you're truly passionate about it. And I think that starts with that and gets you into it before you commit any kind of huge amount of time to doing something like this.
And then what about sort of mastering their craft or building their skills? What would you say is some good advice in that arena?
Sure. So if you've built that passion and you're in it and you love it and that's what you do, then there's several things you can do. One of the first things I would say is networking. Just network with people, try to meet people. It's such a niche business that you really have to. I mean, it's true. You have to know somebody to get in, and so the way you know more people that are involved in the business is finding people that do it, and then connecting with the next person. So treat people fairly and treat each person with love and kindness, and meet new people and the next person, and network all throughout. And then while you're networking, also hone in your skills, put in those extra hours and the extra work to be better at your craft, whether you're wanting to video or you're an AD like me and kind of producing logistics and things like that. Always be practicing it and getting better at it. So do it for free, do it for short films, do it for anything around also networking. So you're meeting new people, and then you're also honing in your craft. If you want to be a writer, then you're writing outside of networking. You're constantly, if you're in a hotel room or by yourself, any moment you have, you're writing or taking notes. Or if you're a shooter and you want to shoot, then you should be out filming every chance you get outside of your work, and then even at your work. You take your camera with you and you shoot. I used to do that all the time when I was first breaking the business networking. I'd go out and film anything I could, and I'd grab friends and just come up with some silly idea and go film it. We may never use it or even show it to anybody, but it's helping make us better because we're learning from each experience we do. So go out and do it, and pursue it, and meet new people and make it happen.
It's really interesting because I've been in a couple of conversations recently with people about productivity versus like creativity. And they were saying, people sit and wait to be creative or to come up with this great idea or something to be perfect before they actually go out and do it. And in actuality, it's the more that you do it and you get better at it, and even if it isn't great, the more productive you are, the more creative you get, because it gets exciting and you learn things and you learn to do it differently. You learn to do it better. But if you don't ever start, you're never going to get better, and you'll never get the creativity to try new things and to step out of your comfort zone and to stretch yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think especially in this business, if you just keep trying to perfect it, you're never going to do it. Just go out and do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then the next one will be better because you're going to learn from it. So even if you go out and you make a turd and nobody wants to see it, it's terrible. That's okay. You don't have to show it to anybody, or you show it to a few people to get some constructive criticism, and you'll be better next time. So yeah, I say do it. Don't sit around and wait. Do it as soon as you have the opportunity, and then go to the next one.
Absolutely. So what are some new and exciting things that you're working on that you think our audience might be interested in?
Sure. So I am currently in Utah for The Chosen. We're doing our Christmas special that we did last year. We did a little Christmas special, and we're doing that again. So I'm out here helping with that. And then right after that, I go out to North Carolina to do a musical. And I just finished some commercial shoots and some other stuff like that. But yeah, lots of little things here and there. Just kind of some stuff like that. It's been very busy.
And I think you're also working on a book.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, I've been working on it for quite some time, but yes, very slowly working on a book, just as it kind of comes to me. I'm very passionate about marriage, and specifically men and how they should pursue their wives in their marriage. So I've been writing that for probably about a year now, and just continue to write it as I research and study it more and learn more myself in my own marriage. And so, yeah, I'm also doing that. And then I have some other entrepreneur things. I'm heavy in the stock market and cryptocurrency. And then I also do some real estate things and have a storage facility and a cabin. And so all kinds of stuff like that on the side as well.
Well, great. So Adam, so tell our listeners how they can find you, and then give them a little bit more specific instruction on how they can see The Chosen, because it's a little bit different, and on the way that they view that. And because I've had a lot of people actually ask me that when I've said you were going to be on the show, they're like, "Now I don't know how to get that, or what do I have to watch that on?" And so if you could give our listeners just how can they connect with you, number one, but also how can they get plugged into The Chosen?
Okay, so for me, yeah, I'm on any of the social media platforms. Well, most of them anyway. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, it's just Adam Drake, but there's a lot of those. So I don't know, just look for one that's in film, I guess. And then Instagram, it's Drakeinator, which is Drake, Drake, and then Inator, like Terminator, just for fun. So it's easy to find me on there too. I'm currently working on a website where I'll put everything up in the same place, but I don't have that up yet. I guess that's all the places you can find me, and reach out to me on any of those social media platforms. And then for The Chosen, it's actually a lot simpler than it seems, but it is an app. So you can download an app to your Android or iPhone or whatever you have, and you stream it directly from the app. It's completely free and very easy. You don't have to fill out any info, put any of your information in, none of that. It's so simple. You just download the app called The Chosen, and it has a picture of that on there. And then you can stream it to whatever device you have at home, if that's a Roku or an Apple TV or even just a smart TV, and it automatically streams right to your television or computer or whatever you want to do it on. And both first and second season are out, and they're on that app. If you're still not savvy with that, the first season is on YouTube. You can just YouTube it and find the whole first season on YouTube. but the second season is not. So eventually, because they want to push everybody to the app, you'll have to go to the app for everything. But it is very simple to use. And if you don't even know how to use it, they got plenty of great YouTube videos too to just show you how to use it. And it's very simple.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Adam. This has been such a delightful interview. And I just want to thank you for your time. I know you're a really super busy guy. And thanks for sharing with our audience. And thanks for sharing your heart. I appreciate it so much.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Absolutely. So to all our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. And don't forget to subscribe or follow. That way you'll never miss a single great episode. And the best form of appreciation you can show Adam or myself is to share this with a friend. So until next time, we'll see you on Work From Your Happy Place.
Thanks for joining us at Work From Your Happy Place. If you like what you hear, please share it with your friends and be sure to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher. For a free gift on finding your own happy place, please visit workfromyourhappyplace.com and click on the free audio button. Thanks again for listening.